Hey everyone, how's it going? So I'm making another video because I want to talk about something that was really important. Now, first I want to acknowledge that today is the blue full moon in Pisces. And so it's quite intense and it's in Virgo season, and both of those signs are highly intuitive signs, and so that connection of both of them and they're kind of on separate, they're sister signs, but they're also like polarity, where the Virgo is deeply grounded, rooted energy. And Pisces is head in the clouds, and so the intuition is very strong, but one is very earthly and methodical and very intellectual, and then the Pisces is more like dream state and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of emotions and things swirling about, and also rethinking things and processing things and letting go things right now. I've been feeling it quite intensely because I'm a Virgo sun and Pisces moon. So it's been quite the fun time for me right now. So anyway, this video is not about our full moon or anything. I just wanted to acknowledge it today because it's a beautiful day, and it's good to it's always nice to take advantage of those full moon energies and new moon energies and energetic shifts that we have to assist our own growth and healing. But what I do want to talk about is a post that I made the other day. I put up a quote about how we don't talk enough about the amount of grief that we go through when we're doing healing work, when we shift and transition and do all that kind of stuff. And we don't talk about that enough. And it's something that we really need to talk about, because unfortunately we have this a lot in the spiritual bypassing community, this whole love and light and high vibes only, and that kind of narrative that happens, that when we think that when we're ascending and doing all these things, that we should be high vibrational and feeling super happy and let go of any negative thoughts and things like that. And that's all a bunch of rubbish. Don't listen to that stuff. It's totally really, it's toxic, okay? Because the reality is that there's nothing low vibrational about grief and sadness. Those are very deep, profound emotions. And when we're feeling grief, grief is very similar vibrational to love. For you to have grief, there has to be love in that space. So there's nothing negative about those emotions. In fact, what's negative is not allowing ourselves to feel those types of emotions. So the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of us that embark on these spiritual journeys, never usually by choice, it's usually that we're thrust into them because of things in our lives that kind of push us towards that. And these dark night of the souls, and just these things where we really start to feel not in alignment with who we are, and we start to unravel these patterns. And when we let go of those things that we were, and let go of the societal programming that we don't belong in, and when we move out of that and we switch into these new paradigms and stuff like that, that's difficult. It's a very difficult thing to deal with. It's hard. It's hard to pry yourself out of programming of a place where that you have been molded into your whole life, and now you're extricating yourself out of that, and just being in this place where you're practically free falling and having no clue what's happening, and you have no map of that place. You have nothing. And so not only is that terrifying and uncertain, and all these other things, it's obviously going to be hard, and it's going to be lonely. And when you have a spiritual community that is rooted in spiritual bypassing, that talks about how you should be feeling happy and great and in gratitude, attitude of gratitude, and all that stuff, it can be really, really hard for those who are in the midst of their pain and sorrow and grief to feel like they're doing something right, to feel like they're doing the healing work. They can feel like they're doing something wrong, but you're not. doing anything wrong. I'm here to tell you that you are exactly where you need to be, and that, yes, an attitude of gratitude and having gratitude and all those things are really important. But when we sit in that space of only allowing ourselves to feel these types of feelings and not these ones, like, this is what spiritual bypassing is, by the way, in case you're not aware of what that term is. Then we do ourselves a huge disservice, because we have duality, we have as above so below. We are equally the shadow parts of ourselves as we are our light parts. And like the yin yang symbol, where there's like the white and the black, and there's some black in the white and some white in the black. Like, we are duality, we are light and shadow. And our grief, sadness, and all those deep emotions hold as much value to us as does our love and our joy and all those things. And the problem arises when we don't allow ourselves to express those things, and we don't allow them to show up in our lives, which is often what ends up happening, is that people don't hold space for that. We don't have people speaking about it. We don't have people feel uncomfortable with people speaking of that, because they're not dealing with their own grief and sadness. And so you speaking about that is making me feel uncomfortable subconsciously. It's kind of triggering my own grief and sadness that is unaddressed, right? And so we're programmed to just ignore that, to bury it, to discount it, to try to move away from it, and do our best to kind of just not deal with it, essentially. And this is why we have people showing up in rage and anger and frustration and all those other types of things, because those other feelings start to show up when we're not sitting with our grief and sadness and dealing with things. We start to lash out. We start to become super depressed and disconnected and all these other things. And so I don't want to make this video too long. It's already getting too long, but I just wanted to hold space right now for all of that. So for all of you who are doing healing work, I want you to know that you're not alone if you're going through that deep grief. And when you do these big shifts internally, and when you are transitioning and transforming and growing and healing and shedding and all of those things, you are going to have so much of that come up. And most of it is stuff from the past that you are finally processing and releasing and letting go of. Most of that is like things that you have already experienced, and quite a lot of that is not even your own. It could be like ancestral trauma and emotions that you're carrying, or even like energy that you're picking up. Like, there's just so much of that there. And so all I can say is allow yourself to feel those things, allow that energy to come up, find the safe spaces to be there, to be able to let that stuff out, honor the place where you're at, find the healers that can hold space for you, the ones who will guide you. Do whatever you need to do, find whatever modalities you need to do, but remember that there's nothing wrong with you, and that you are not regressing, that you're not doing something negative, that you're not stunting your healing or going backwards or anything. When you are in those big pockets of despair and sadness and grief, you are absolutely doing exactly the right thing. And I just want to talk about that because it's important, and I think that we need to talk about that more. And so that was the point of this video. I just wanted to elaborate more on that quote that I made, and I want to send love to all of you who are going through those moments, because I can tell you right now, having been through several of those moments myself, they're not easy by any means. They are not easy, and that's why I say healing is not for the weak of heart. The faint of heart, the weak of heart, whatever. The faint of heart. It's very, very difficult. It is hard work. So for those of you doing the healing work and you are surpassing levels and levels and doing all that work, like the shadow work, and just really sitting with that, allowing yourself to sit with that, I just want to give you so much props right now, because I know how hard that is more than anyone. And I just want you to know like how brave and strong and powerful and courageous of you it is to be that person. And I want you to know that I see you and that you're doing everything right and that you're exactly on the right path. And just allow yourself to feel that you're not alone. There is love. There is love in that grief and sadness, and there's so much love that you have to offer, and that you will get to the light part again. And the more that we stop ourselves from feeling that stuff, the worse it gets for us. So let yourself feel that stuff. Let it come up. Give yourself the grace and compassion and kindness and tenderness that you need during those moments, and find the people who can also hold space for you. So that's it. I hope that you're doing great, and that if you're not doing great, that's okay. Just allow yourself to process what you need to, and that's it. If you have any questions about healing or anything you want me to talk about, feel free to mention in the comments, because I'm always looking for content. I usually do short reels on my Instagram, but I haven't found big topics to talk about on here. But I think I'm going to be posting more videos because I feel like there's like a great need for it right now. Yes, exactly. Is it Halo behind me? Who's behind me? Yeah, Halo. Halo says that too. Okay, so take care. Have a beautiful day. Happy full moon in Pisces. Take care of yourself. Take care of your energy. And I hope that you get to align with all the things that are for you. And that I hope that today and every other day after today is your moment. And that you get to step into your power in the way that you were meant to. Anyways, take care. Bye.